What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of In Between the Number Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Daryl, and tonight we're going to talk about should players just ball or should, they talk a little bit of smack? If you're not tracking on what I'm talking about, we're talking about Ohio State freshman phenom Jeremiah Smith. He said, quote unquote, so I'm just letting everyone know right now that if they play man, talking about Oregon, Wednesday, we're taking a shot. And he said that he vows to play angry in a rematch versus Oregon. And then you got Cam Skattebo. He says, and I quote, "There's nobody that can stop me." So he says, "There's nobody out there that can stop me." And Arizona State has to play Texas um, coming up. So the question is it just overconfidence or is it maybe a bad idea? Because one, right, we know that when you quote unquote say these type of things, right, talk smack before a game, it might be a show confidence, but sometimes it usually can come back and bite you, and it can be a bad idea when you're calling a team out, uh, when you're claiming that you're unstoppable, or you're claiming that you're unguardable in man coverage. You're giving your opponent bulletin board material. You're not just playing the game anymore. You're fighting with extra motive. They're not just playing the game anymore. They're going to be fighting with extra motivation to try to prove you wrong, right? Um, Now these are very big games, right, for both teams. Ohio State, who's kind of, you know, they're fighting. I feel like Ohio State feels like their backs up against the wall. They have a lot of talent on that team. It's been said that they spent $20 million in NIL to bring in some of the talent that they brought in on the transfer portal, and then they lost to Michigan, and so a lot of people was kind of like low on them going into the playoffs, right? And then you got Arizona State University with Cam Skattebo and those guys, and I mean, I didn't know who Cam Skattebo was until I saw him play. In that first playoff game. And that's when I was just like, oh, okay, I see, who these guys are. Well, not in the playoff game. It was in a championship game, right? I think it was the Big 12 championship game. Yeah, the Big 12 championship game. And that's when I was just like, oh, okay, this dude is a beast, right? But for every player who um backs up their words, there's about 10 more who don't. And when it backfires, it's embarrassing, and it may define your legacy depending on how bad it is, right? You might every year or every so often they might replay clips of you know you talking smack or saying words, and then it backfiring in your face. um and if you look at some of the greatest college football players in college football history, most of them let their performance talk for them on the field. They don't do a lot of talking, and they didn't need to feel like they had to hype themselves up, in the media. They let their play speaks volumes, right? And you know, story time. My mom always used to tell me that, what flies high must land, right? So, you may be feeling super confident flying really high, but you gotta always respect your opponent. And sometimes, you can have a terrible game. And again, when you make these when you say these words, the opposite team is gonna be gunning for you, right? Because you just gave them bulletin board material. Now I'm not trying to take anything away from Jeremiah Smith, and I'm not trying to take anything away from Cam Skattebo. Like I said in the beginning, Jeremiah Smith is having a crazy um, freshman season, right? I think he's like 18 years old, um, and he's clearly the best wide receiver in the Big Ten. And Cam Skattebo is a beast too. He's one of them. He's been one of the most dominant players in college football this year. But the Longhorn defense is definitely, um, the Longhorn defense is one of the best defenses in the country. They didn't get there by accident, and they're going to be ready. And I'm pretty sure, they heard his words because he did say it at the media day ahead of the playoff game. So I'm pretty sure someone probably was like, look at this, showing the defense, showing the defensive coordinator, showing Steve Sarkisian. And I guarantee you, somewhere in a locker, somewhere, one of these players have what he said printed out or on their phones. And they're going to be reminding everyone else on defense that this was what we got to go out here and shut down or what have you, right? Uh, and, with Jeremiah Smith, he like I said, he's had a very, very good season. He's had so far in the first playoff game versus Tennessee, he had over 100 yards receiving and 2 touchdowns. Tennessee couldn't do anything with him. But Oregon is a different beast. This is going to be the second time they played Oregon so far this season. And in the first game, Oregon won. And although this is the second game and there's way more riding on the line in the second game compared to the first game, you know, Oregon is still no slouches. They have a very good team. They was able to beat Ohio State the first time, and they're going to be looking to beat Ohio State a second time. And, you just pretty much gave them bulletin board material. And so I hope all goes well. I hope Jeremiah Smith has a very good game. I hope that, Cam Skattebo has a very good game. But, hopefully, somebody went to these players, a teammate, a leader in the locker room, a coach, and said, "Hey, man, look, I understand you guys are excited for the game, but let's just keep it in the locker room. Let's just keep it hush hush and let our play do the talking on the field because you don't want to give these guys any more motivation. But once you put those words out there, you can't take them back. So it's already out there in the atmosphere. So we just got to see what both Jeremiah Smith does and what Cam Skattebo does come, tomorrow when they step on the field to play in their playoff games, right? So at the end of the day, it's not about what you say before the game. It's all about how you play, your performance. Confidence is important, but overconfidence, like I said, that can cost you sometimes. You're just giving the team that you're going against some extra motivation to pretty much shut you up, quote unquote. So, in my personal opinion, like I said, I would just recommend the players go out there and play, stay humble, stay focused, and just play ball. And hopefully, hopefully you leave it all on the field, and hopefully your blood, sweat, and tears end up with you being successful and putting another W in the win column and moving on to a bigger, better game. In this case, hopefully the national championship. So what do you think? Should players keep their mouths shut before big games, or does the trash talk add to the excitement? Let me know in the comments, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell notification button, so you can stay up to date on more sports takes here on this channel. And as always, I appreciate everyone who supported so far by leaving likes, leaving comments, and subscribing. The channel is growing, and I couldn't do it without you guys. And I wish everyone a happy New Year's. Stay safe. All of that good stuff. And I'll see y'all on the next episode. I'm out.